Hey everybody, I have today a hands-on of the Bluboo D5 Pro. So this is my first new video since that scare I had where I thought I lost the channel. Feels good to be back. So you notice that I'm shooting from a different angle. That's because I went to Korea last week for LG's thing and then I broke my tripod. So I'm shooting with a different tripod. So hence the kind of weird angle. So we'll get to this unboxing really quick. Let's check out the specs first. It's a MediaTek 6737, 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage, Android 7.0, that's pretty dated by now. 13 megapixel and an 8 megapixel selfie camera. So I believe this phone has one back camera. So props to Bluboo for not trying to do that, scamming thing anymore with the fake second camera that all these other Chinese brands do. That was really annoying. I'm glad that they're breaking away from it. Yep, so there's only one camera on the back. This phone feels very nice, very hefty. Like this is a metal rail right here. That's heavy duty metal rail. Usually Bluboo phones are kind of made of plastic, so this one definitely feels different. Although this design, it's hilarious. This is a complete copy of the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2 design, but let's check out the box first. Okay, so it comes with a ring. So these are rings that a lot of people in Asia have them. I'm not sure if you're from like the US or Europe, you might not have seen these. But in Asia, a lot of people have these on the back of the phone so that it helps them grip the phone better. So micro USB cable. So this phone does not have USB-C. It uses USB-A. It's a little bit of a disappointment, but this is a budget phone, so can't complain. This is a China plug. There's something moving underneath. Oh, okay, you have a some ejector tool here. So right here, it feels like there's a case in here. Yep, you do have a case and some papers, instruction booklets and all that. You get a screen protector. I don't think it's glass. Yep, soft film screen protector. And you get a case. Okay, let's get to my favorite part, peeling off the labels. There's already a screen protector on this phone, so that means you get bonus, you get 2. Oh, this is pretty tough to peel off. So. Okay, so this is plastic. I thought it was glass initially, but no, this back is plastic. It feels a little bit hollow, but the steel railings add a little bit of heft to the phone. It feels really good when you're holding it from the side, but when you touch the back, then it feels a little bit flimsy. I like the little gold trim around the fingerprint reader too. So let's power on the device. So I'll do my usual. I'm gonna power it on, I'm gonna test it out for like a day, and then I'll be back with my impressions. Hey guys, I'm back with the Bluboo D5 Pro. So first things first, this phone, I still stand by what I said in the unboxing. It looks and feels very good. These metal rails, they're legit. They're very sturdy, very hard, and just feels very good in the hand. And this 5.5-inch display with an aspect ratio of 19:8. So then it makes it easier to grip. It feels very good in the hand, just like the Xiaomi Mi Mix 2. Now the one big thing is you can tell this is a budget device is this back. This is a plastic back, and on top of that it feels very flimsy, very hollow inside. Just listen to the sound. It sounds like the back is kind of flimsy. Everything else, though, it's pretty decent. So you have this display, 5.5-inch, with an aspect ratio of 1280 by 620. So that's that might be worrisome, the 620 part, but the 1280 part, it's enough to bump it up to a respectable resolution because the aspect ratio is so different. You can't really call this a 720p panel, but I would say it's about a 720p panel. And you know, I always look at display quality by just going on Instagram, because that's the app that most of us use for budget phones anyways. And if you're watching Instagram stories on this, I don't think you'll complain. I think everything looks pretty good considering this price point, because this phone sells for, according to GearBest, $129.99. So that's US dollars. So that's not even $130 US for this phone that immediately looks good. And if you hold this on the street next to everybody else with iPhone 10s and Samsung Galaxy S9s, it's not going to look like it doesn't belong. This phone, you know, you put it next to those phones, it looks like it belongs. It's just when you dig deeper and start using the camera and start getting into the processor, then you realize this is a budget device. So let's go through the basic hardware really quick. You have a single speaker grill down below, a USB-A charging port. I wish it was USB-C. Right here you have a power button and volume rockers. On the right side, it's almost completely clean, except for the SIM tray, which I like quite a lot. And then on top, you have a headphone jack, and there's a little antenna line here. It's impressive that there's only 2 antenna lines right here and right here. I guess because this is a plastic back, so you don't need that many antenna lines. So the selfie camera is on the bottom, so you have to flip the phone upside down to use it. And the earpiece, you notice is really slim, and it actually works. I made a couple of phone calls. The sound, not as loud as I like it, but it's definitely usable. So fingerprint reader, it's not the fastest out there, especially compared to the flagship phones that I use. It takes about half a second, but no complaints really. It's quite accurate, easy to reach, and it works just as advertised. It's just not as fast as a phone that costs $800, which is not even a fair comparison, right? So while this phone looks great, performance-wise, it's a little bit of a slight disappointment, even at this price range. It has 3 gigs of RAM only, with a MediaTek 6737 processor, which is not that powerful. So you go to Geekbench, which I ran, scored a 580 single core and 1588 multi-core. That's pretty weak. And then on PCMark, so it's not going to show the score because PCMark has this stupid bug, but I ran a test yesterday and it scored about 2,200, which is low. You know, other phones I test usually get at least 3,000-4,000, even budget phones. So a flagship phone gets up to 7,000. Oh, battery size is 2730. So not that big, but considering the resolution of this phone is not that large, should be okay. I haven't encountered any problems yet. I didn't even charge this phone yesterday. I unboxed it yesterday night and I used it a little bit at night, and I used it all morning today. And it's at 23% now, but I didn't charge the phone overnight. So I'd say battery life should be fine. So now about that software. As I mentioned, this is Android 7.0. It's quite old, and on top of that, this is a vanilla version of Android. It's like the most basic skeleton version of Android, which is interesting because previous Bluboo phones had a lot of customization, like Android skins. This one doesn't. So you go to settings, check out how slim the settings page is. That's all. You can't really do anything. There's no gestures whatsoever. So none of this like double tap. You can't swipe to bring down notifications. You can't draw anything. You know, no 3-finger swipe, nothing. And on top of that, you can't even get rid of these navigation buttons, which is really annoying because you have a almost bezel-less phone other than the really sizable chin. And then this just gets in the way, especially when you're watching Instagram stories. This is my biggest nitpick because Instagram stories supposedly fills up the whole page. So that means this really just annoys me. It gets in the way. If you look at Instagram stories on another phone where you can hide, apologies for that noise, there's a fire alarm outside my apartment. So you look at on another phone, it fills up all the way and it looks very impressive. On this phone, you can't get rid of the buttons, which kind of annoys me. So otherwise, performance is decent. You can jump between apps. Although you see noticeably, there's a noticeable lag a little bit. So it's just not the fastest phone. I don't think you can expect much at this price range. So another area that's check out the So let's check out the speakers now. Speakers ain't that good so far. So this is so right off the bat, even at 15%, you hear a bit of distortion, and you can easily muffle the sound. Let's go up to 50%. Let's go up to 100. So you see, I don't even see much difference between 50% and 100 in terms of volume. Let's check it out again. 50%. Now let's go up to 100. So not a big jump, and then really anything over 30% you get a lot of distortion, but this screen looks good. Well, I guess because this video looks good, so any phone will look good with this video. But $130, even if you get this as just a YouTube video, a K-pop video watching device, no complaints. So as I mentioned earlier, the software is very bare bones, and that goes into the camera app too. So you look at the camera app, there's virtually no settings. I'm glad that Bluboo stopped with that fake dual camera bokeh shit, because that, you know, that fake bokeh stuff, so I'm glad it's gone. There's a single camera now, 8 megapixels. Like, it is what it is. It takes photos like all the other budget phones I've tested, meaning they're passable during the day. With good lighting, they're fine. But I would not use this to shoot photos at night and expect it to turn out clear. You go to settings here and that's all you get really. You can change resolutions a little bit, but not a lot of shooting modes. So there's no, you have right here, I believe this is panorama, face beauty, and then you have normal mode. That's it. So there's no pro mode. And then when you're shooting videos, you can zoom in. So let's check out some samples really quick. So, you know, as I mentioned, daytime photos turns out pretty decent. Like this shot, you post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram, nobody's gonna complain. It looks fine. Except when you go in, then details are a little bit lacking. But the color is quite accurate, and dynamic range is pretty decent too. Although this is not that challenging a shooting situation. So now right here, this is a more challenging shot. And you see dynamic range suffers a little bit in terms of right here, it's a bit dim, but otherwise this image is not bad. $130 and zero, really can't complain, I think. So let's look at a couple more shots. I really like how this one turned out also. Now let's go to nighttime photography. Nighttime photography is where there's a little bit, it suffers, but that's, you know that by now. So okay, so I took this at night, and you notice that even a minor street lamp like this is overexposed. It's kind of blown out, and there's just virtually no details right here down on the street area. So this is a pretty poor night shot, but the selfie camera is decent. So this is my girlfriend and I. Again, the lights in the back are completely blown out, but you can see our faces pretty reasonably well. Like I mean, I think the details are a little bit soft around her face and our faces, but which is good for me because I have bad skin, man. So actually good that this camera doesn't show that much details, but this is passable for selfies. The main camera, like you check this, look at how dim this is. This is almost like unusable. Now check out nighttime video. So I'm walking. So no stabilization at all, pretty jerky. But still passable though, like, you know, I think you can use this video to document things. It's not like it's unwatchable. That's nighttime. Daytime, obviously the video gets a lot better. Let's check out some daytime video I just shot. So see, colors are accurate, details are good, but still no stabilization at all. Check out how jerky the video is as I walk. But really, at this point, can you really expect stabilization on a $130 phone? I don't think you can. Apologies for that fire alarm outside. It's really getting on my damn nerves. I might go out and like start yelling at people, man. So anyway, this is the Bluboo D5 Pro. I have like a lot of other phones to test, so I'm gonna end this video here. I think it's pretty clear cut whether this phone or not is for you. If your budget is only up to $150, like if you have to buy something less than $150, but you want a big screen in a tight body, and you want like a good immersive video playing performance, you might want to consider this. But otherwise, if you can spend a little more, if your budget can even go up to $200, $250, then no, then there are a lot of other options out there, like from New, you know, or from like even Redmi. It's just brands that will have better processor, better software, better camera, but not a bad $130 phone. Thanks for watching.